Today's video is on NVDY. So we said yesterday we were buying tech. We wanted to catch up to the NASDAQ in performance. So we were buying Apple and NVDY on the dips. Today we took advantage of those dips. And now I'm buying NVDY in the after hours on the earnings beat, the massive earnings beat that NVIDIA just had. So we earn over 100,000 in dividends on this channel. We use margin here to get it, a portion of margin. For every $1 you put into your account, you get $4 in purchasing power. So I use this margin to increase our income to 100,000, over 100,000 per year, as well as to outperform the market because I tie everything to the indexes, and NVIDIA is in the indexes. NVIDIA replicates NVIDIA, sells cover calls on NVIDIA. If you need more help on what NVIDIA does, see my past videos on NVIDIA and the Yieldmax funds on how they work exactly. I've made about 3 or 4 videos on NVIDIA, Apple, Tesla, you name it, OARC. NVIDIA should have about a 50% dividend. We'll see. The implied volatility should be huge after today's move. We're up 15% after hours. Okay, we're up in the account. We're up 18% for the year. The Dow's up 0.14. The SP's up 7, and the Nasdaq's up 19%. So we're doing better than most of the indexes, and we're again doing it through dividends, particularly through using a little bit of margin and dripping our dividends with Cornerstone, which I'll show you really quick. If you need help with margin and dividend investing, please email me at aikentod48@gmail.com. I have e-guides for margin and how to play Cornerstone, which is this fund right here, CLM. We drip our dividends at the NAV. $6 here, $6.50. These are the NAV prices. Every month we drip our dividends here, instant 15% profits, 18% here. So that's how we're getting our outperformance and living financially free through dividends. And NVIDIA is another fund that we've added to the portfolio. NVIDIA, I now have 4,000 in it. It shows that I'm down, but it hasn't reflected the after hours buy. It shows I'm down 7% here, but after hours we're up about it should be more than 9% now, because if we go to, we'll click on NVIDIA. We'll go to NVIDIA's chart. I just want to show you really fast my debt. It's down to 253. I made some moves today to get my debt down so that I can make way and buy more NVIDIA. So here we go. We're going to NVIDIA's snapshot, and you'll see after hours it's up a little over 8%, and it could be up even more tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. When these funds skyrocket, the upside is capped, as you know, in these covered call funds. So we'll see how it goes from here. But for NVIDIA, it looks like we're up 19% after hours. So hopefully that will reflect tomorrow in the share price. Hopefully it doesn't. We'll see how much this upside is in fact capped by NVIDIA. But I'm not worried about that. I just want the extremely large dividend from NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is it's pretty much at all-time highs now, 364. So the past high on this chart was around 350. So it looks like we're at all-time highs now for NVIDIA, and it looks like that's gonna make NVIDIA's calls that they because obviously they sell cover calls. It's gonna make them get called away, perhaps. If you look at my last video, you'll see the strike prices for NVIDIA, and so here we are. We're 350 was the old high. So if we were at 350 and now after hours we're at 364, this is an all-time high. Maybe I can go show you here their strike prices. If I just quickly go here to their prospectus on their website, top 10 holdings, and it says here the call was at 300. So 300 there, 335 call there. So 312, 335. The stock price is considerably higher than these prices. So again, maybe they've been rolling calls or something. I don't know exactly how they deal with spikes like this. We will find out tomorrow, but I already bought 2,000 just because I want the dividend. I don't know if the stock's going to go further. I don't know how this is going to work. So this is all kind of an experiment since these Yieldmax funds are so new. I would buy NVIDIA itself, but I already control Soxel here, down here in my sold put section. I have a put in Soxel, so that'll move tomorrow hopefully. and I can't just buy NVIDIA outright because there is no dividend. So I have NVIDIA, and on any dip, so I'll add to NVIDIA. I'll get that up to about 5,000, perhaps 7,000, because as you know, we can't go out of the allocations of the S&P and NASDAQ. I've already showed you what NVIDIA's allocations were, what Tesla's allocations were, and Apple. So we're definitely adding to Apple tomorrow. Today, everything had a perfect pullback. Everything went exactly as planned. I told you we're trying to get more tech exposure out of these FANG names. And to get a true gauge of what Apple is doing, we need to go to Apple stock. So I added to Apple today. I added to the triple TQQs like I told you I would yesterday in the video. And I added to NVIDIA. And look at an Apple here on the chart. It's had a significant move. And as you saw that drop down, NVIDIA just declared a larger dividend. They also had a record revenue with their data centers segment. They had record revenue there, over $4 billion. So look, Apple's at the highs, but we had this is on a 1-year chart. It's at the highs, but we had a nice pullback to that brown line, which is the 20-day moving average. So it's not the most ideal buying opportunity, but every time it's hit that brown line, it's come back up. So I'm hoping that tomorrow is no different. If not, and we get a pullback to that blue line or the purple line, which is the 50-day moving average, that would be a great entry point. Okay, the RSI would pull back to 40-ish or 50-ish at least, and be perfectly reset almost for such a high quality name. And I mean, if we can get a pullback to the 200, which would be around 150, this orange line, that would be, to me, a godsend, because the NASDAQ's breaking out. And again, this is 10% of the S&P and maybe even a larger percentage of the NASDAQ. So this is in a very important stock to own. So I'm going to control it through Apple for the dividend, because even if you have stock gains, the bankers won't take them. As you know, on this channel, I'm against stock gains. No matter how much you make in it, they won't take those gains. They're too up and down and unpredictable. They only take paychecks and dividends to live financially free. So dividends provide qualifying income for the banks. So this is how we're going to get our performance up. We're going to buy more NVIDIA like we just did after hours, buy Apple tomorrow. And we've already started adding into the Qs. TQQ, I have 2,000 in it. I also put on some UPRO today to try to get a little bit more exposure there, because again, the S&P and the NASDAQ had a perfect pullback today. This whole debt ceiling thing is always the great wager. You buy when there's bad news like this, because if something was really going to go alarmingly wrong and terribly bad, then life as we know it has changed forever in America, and we shouldn't be worried about money. That's how I felt about the Ukraine war, and that's how I feel about the debt ceiling. If it's just a minor raise in the debt ceiling and then we downgrade our debt, we'll be fine. Maybe we'll pull back, but we'll be fine. If there's some catastrophe, well then, and we go bankrupt as a nation, well then money is not a factor in life anymore. We're going to be out bartering in the streets, and it would just be a terrible, money wouldn't matter. So it's the great wager to bet against such bad news. We've never had a default in the debt. I don't believe, like, we've never had a real problem there. And so hopefully this time will be no different. So SPY, really quickly, I just want to show you that we had a nice perfect pullback today, just like we had with Apple. S&P, which is tech dominant, so you're going to see that it looks a lot like Apple. It's had a nice pullback to this purple line, which is the 50-day moving average. So this was a significant day, and if we go any lower, we'll be near the blue and orange lines, which are the ultimate moving average support areas, the 200-day moving average. So, and the RSI would be at 40 roughly. So everything would be setting up for a perfect pullback there, especially as interest rates fall, the economy is still going strong, and let's say the debt issues get solved. This would just be a perfect textbook buy, in my opinion. So we're catching up to the performance of the NASDAQ. We're already beating the S&P and Dow, but we're going to catch up to the NASDAQ by buying Apple and NVIDIA. And I also added some UPRO today because the S&P, it moves more than the S&P, obviously, and you only want to do that when there's an uptrend taking place, you don't want to be buying triple leveraged ETFs like TQQ and UPRO unless you believe there's an uptrend. And again, you always want to buy small and keep your positions small because they decay. These are triple leveraged ETFs. They decay. That's why I prefer also not having money in them, because the banks don't take the triples. They take NVDA and Apple, the dividends from these. That's what allow me to live financially free. I'll say it again and again. So anyway, if you need help again on margin or cornerstone, please email me at akintod48@gmail.com. And if you have questions on how Yieldmax funds work, go check out my past videos. But other than that, our 100,000 in dividends that we earn per year should pay down this debt in about 3 years, assuming I don't spend too much out of this account. And we're going to continue to live financially free through dividends, through the loans that they qualify you for, so you can buy a house, buy a car. You don't have to have a 9-to-5. And these 4-star funds that we own up top, they have more reliable dividend payments to me than a paycheck. So I'm going to continue to live this way using passive income to live financially free. So email me if you have any more questions. Leave comments in the section below, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.